and welcome back to another episode of the Anti-Social Chat Show. My name is Tara Tamika and I'm here with my lovely co-host.
Hello, my name's Eleanor from Kreatív Copywriting and I'm Chief Story Finder and Domestic Goddess.
Ooh. And today we are here to talk about something that you might find interesting. But before we start with that, just want to thank all of our listeners. We've been getting some shout outs lately as well. So we want to thank everybody for listening. You can find us on SoundCloud, on iTunes, or whichever podcast app you use. So yeah, make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss another episode. So we are talking about something which I absolutely love. I'm an extrovert, so I'm like, yeah, sure, hey, but maybe introverts not so much.
No, I have to say this is something I personally don't like doing that much. You wouldn't believe it.
Should we tell our listeners and our viewers?
Yes, it's about self-promotion and particularly self-promotion for introverts as well. So we're kind of discussing self-promotion in general and why it can feel a bit icky and what to do if you don't like the whole idea of promoting yourself online or offline.
Or offline, right? I guess I like self-promotion anywhere, online, offline. But however, I can understand how a lot of introverts just don't like it and the word ick. But do you know what? To be honest, Eleanor, there are a lot of people who self-promote in a really icky way. And I guess that's probably what everybody is seeing and thinking, I don't want to be like that. So, I think one of the key ways I think that we should be self-promoting is just by constantly helping. Just keep on helping, as opposed to, hello, look at me, look what I do. I've noticed that when I jump in, for example, in the Facebook group and somebody's asked a question, for example, recently it was about active campaign, and I just prepared a quick sheet that had no sign up, just plonked it in there and they could just, use it straight away. I noticed I was getting a lot of likes on my Facebook page, which has been a bit dead, but that's a form of self-promotion, right?
Yeah, exactly. Of course it is. So helping as well. But even sometimes that can feel a bit, especially if you feel that you're not an authority in that field, say you're just starting out, or even if you do, sometimes you think, I don't want to jump in there because it makes me sound like I'm a know-it-all. I know that you probably don't feel like that, but to other people, they probably have that fear. And I totally get that because I was like that as well. I thought, I don't want to jump in there, and I don't say this.
That's rude to help people. I don't like when people don't jump in because that means you're just sitting back consuming and not contributing.
No, not all the time. You can be just a bit shy and don't think, well, if I contribute, maybe somebody's going to attack me and say, oh no, you're wrong. Or generally speaking, outside of Facebook groups, when you're self-promoting yourself either on LinkedIn or on your Facebook page or on Instagram, it can feel, I daren't put it out there. But, the law of visibility is, if people don't see it, they can't buy it.
Right.
If you don't offer, if you don't tell people what you're offering, then how can you help them? I guess that's the downside, isn't it? So it continues to perpetuate. It's a catch-22, isn't it?
Funny enough, that's reminded me of way back when self-promotion wasn't something I did. I remember somebody coming to me and asking for recommendation for something that I offered. I was like, okay, I've done something wrong. If you're actually coming to me and asking me, do you know anyone who can do? I was like, well, yeah, me. Why not make that clear? Oh, okay. So I guess it's probably finding a way. See, obviously, as the extrovert here, even though I claim to understand introverts, I would have thought that, answering a question and peppering it with, I'm not completely sure, this is just my opinion, my 2 cents, would be fine. But then I've just realized, as you said it, there is that whole, not just helping someone, but obviously they're going to see your photo, they're going to see your name, and if they don't like what you're saying, it's like, well, why does she know? Why does she think that's right? So I can understand how You know, when I think about a couple of introverts I know who something very simple that I think, oh, that's perfect, they actually take it through the whole scenario of what might happen and go, no, I won't do that then. So, however, Eleanor, you are fantastic at self-promotion because there's nothing icky about the way you do it. So maybe you can tell the other introverts out there how you have overcome, you know, maybe some shyness and some bit of fear.
Well, it could be I'm not doing it right, but as a copywriter, I always like the whole show don't tell approach. So rather than saying come to me and I'll do all your copy and this, that and the other, I'd rather certainly with LinkedIn, because that's where I'm more active, I'd rather put my writing out there and talk and discuss about things and hopefully be helpful in that way without having that really strong call to action and buy my course now. But of course you should buy my course now. But yeah, and the way I got over that actually, because I was very shy and also like everybody, I had some haters. So that really stopped me. It actually stopped my progress in many ways because I was worried about what people think or what they were going to say. But at the end of the day, I realised it doesn't really matter. And the pain of being stuck and not having any clients and not having any work was more than the pain of going live on camera or putting myself out there. And once you get over that little step, do it bit by bit, it becomes more natural, just like a habit.
Yeah.
And my tip would be for anyone who's feeling like that is that there's safety in numbers. So maybe do a challenge with people. There's lots of these challenges going on, like a visibility challenge. I think you've got one coming up, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
You have. So, get on something like that where, you're all supporting each other, everybody's doing a post, and that way you really do get over it. I know that because I've done a few challenges and they've really helped me get visible.
Right. I remember we did a challenge together, didn't we? The Ignite video challenge.
Yeah, the video challenge, and that really changed everything for me.
I mean, I liked video before then, but I recently watched the beginning of each one of those, and you could already see a progression. I was actually going to mention as well the challenges. I think that's a great idea. The challenge that I'm preparing is not all about being live and self-promotion, but it will certainly cover some of those aspects. But the other thing that I think would be cool is, you were talking about safety in numbers, is to look at it as that very classic 80s, 20s rule. Make yourself stick to, if I'm going to talk about something, we all like putting out memes and, things like that in our social media channels. Maybe we promote other people and then we promote ourselves. So for every, 5 pieces of content that you are linking to somebody else's great blog post, 1 or 2 will be of yours. And then, that could be a way of making sure you're putting yourself out there.
Mm. The other thing I encountered, but this may well be specific to me, is, I had, a little bit of, shall we say, pushback, and that really stopped me when I was first starting out. But one thing that made me continue is I thought, at the end of the day, what does it matter? Most people are interested in themselves, not in what you're doing. So just do your thing. And over time, I got more confidence. And I have to say, if you're confident in what you're offering and what you're doing, that permeates through everything you do. It permeates through your writing. It permeates through your online stuff, your live stuff, everything you do. Once you let go of that feeling, think, I don't give up,
right.
Then when you can really be yourself. And it's not an easy process. So I really feel for people who are introverts like myself. I am an introvert. I'm pretty, I know I am quite shy, that struggle with this, because I struggled with it for a time. And that would be my, safety in numbers at first, and do it bit by bit. You don't have to jump in and do all these LinkedIn lives or Facebook lives. You don't have to go all in. You can do it little by little. And then you'll find that it wasn't such a big deal after all.
Okay, so I have a question, because one of the things that I've come up against with some introverts is they say that I'm not actually shy. I just don't want to talk to people, and I don't want people to talk back to me. Which I
become a copywriter, then you'll be fine.
Maybe that's the same thing. I don't know, but I wonder because is there a difference for you?
If you, unfortunately, unless you've got a load of staff, you've got a sales team and a marketing team doing that for you, then you are at some point going to have to get out of your comfort zone and talk to people, because business is about that. It's about having that relationship with people. So at some point you are going to have to get over that step. That's fine. Your step might be talk to people, and then when I'm a millionaire, I can pay people to do that part for me. But really, we're no man or woman is an island. You have to build those relationships, and that's what business is.
Right. So what about? So I've also come across some that just they don't mind. They're doing quite well in their business, but they don't want to be the face of their business unless it's behind a keyboard, literally just typing. And
that's fine. You don't have to go live. You don't have to be on all these platforms. You don't have to even be on social media, dare I say it. I mean, it's pretty hard now. It's pretty hard now not to be, but really there are ways around it. As a writer, as a copywriter, you do it for your writing. You don't have to go online. All these, get on video now, it's the thing you have to do. Why do I have to do it? Say my business is going perfectly well without it, then fine.
Okay, then that raises another question, because for me, I'm one of those that video is obviously quite important because people buy from people. And, I've actually been able to ask a client, why did you choose me? Oh, I like the way that you responded by video. There's loads more video tools out there. I actually do believe that video is important if you're going to be on the online space in order to separate yourself from everyone else. So if somebody's running their business and they are online, and they're getting a little bit stuck, maybe they've got their great copywriting, they've got their landing page and so forth, would you still say that? Would you still say, oh, no need to do video?
Well, it depends, really. It's a bit of a one-way question. I mean, the thing is, if you don't like doing it, you could do more harm, and you don't come across well on video, you could do more harm to your brand than good. And I have seen people do some pretty bad videos. And also, the other thing is, if everybody's doing video, then you aren't the person being different, are you? I notice everybody's, video, and I'm different. Well, it's funny because every time I, look on LinkedIn, everybody's doing video. So, standing out doesn't mean jumping on the bandwagon. It often means jumping off it.
I like that.
So that is what I would say to that. Find new ways to promote yourself. Find different ways to do it. Also with video, of course, you can use tools like Lumen 5 and put your video in your blog post in a video, or do an explainer video. So you don't have to be, a face on a camera.
Great answer. I feel like I'm interviewing you today. I thought this was a chat show. It's like,
well, we call it the Tara interview show, if you like. I think we should start bringing guests on for a grilling. A nice friendly chat.
That's not a good way to promote this.
A nice friendly chat is for the introverts, a grilling is for the extroverts.
Oh, I see. Well, I didn't mean to be grilling you, but I like it. I like when we have these chats like this, and it's really interesting to me because I seem to only be attracted to introverts, both at work and outside of work. So I do find it very fascinating. And as an extrovert, when I spot an introvert, when I realise how the communication is going, I really do dial it down, because I have to do the same as you were explaining about an introvert. They have to come out of their comfort zone. Sometimes I have to come out of mine, believe it or not, speak less, wait for an answer. It happens. So
it definitely works both ways. I think sometimes it can appear that being extrovert is the optimum and being introvert is in some way a negative thing. Not at all. No. We all have our strengths and weaknesses, and it's definitely not that case.
So then, even though we're talking about self-promotion for introverts, I'd like to flip it round and maybe offer some tips about, self-promotion no-nos.
Extroverts, yeah.
Sometimes you see a lot of epic fails, and I think it's very similar to what you said before, that people are thinking about themselves, and sometimes I see people are talking about themselves a lot, and it's something that everybody knows. Everybody knows the theory, talk about the solution that you provide. But there's a lot of this, this is what I do, this is what I can do for you, this is what I can do. And they're great with the video and the production and talking and the backdrop and so forth. And I think that can turn people off. And I hope I don't do that, because I'm talking about a no-no here, but I think it can be a bit of a turn off when you're all the time. I mean, promoting yourself is fine, but if every video or every Instagram story
is about you,
it's, even for me, it's like, okay.
Yeah, I think it's nice to have that behind the scenes stuff and show yourself a bit. But some people, gosh, they really ramp it up, don't they? It's all about them, and then they talk about their personal life, and I'm like, please.
Right. Well, that seems to be the new thing I've noticed. And I did a quick little research before we jumped on here, and I saw a lot of articles that said, don't just talk about business, talk about your personal life. And I was like,
it would definitely be a lot more interesting. I don't think I'd be buying from you, but I'd be listening.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like for people to know a bit about me. For example, my cats. Look, have a cat, right? But I prefer that within context, and that's something I learned from. I'm going to plug your course now, but it's within context again. But it's something that I learned from your email copywriting course, because I have tons of stories in me, but I never knew how to. They don't matter to anyone else. For example, when I remember one I wrote was from your course. It's on my LinkedIn, about having an attack with the shower curtain or something.
Oh, I remember that. That was fantastic. I love that.
Personal story, but it was about business, and it was about understanding, if I remember correctly, how you deal with problems in your business. I think it was something like that. So that to me makes sense if you're talking about your personal life. People are getting to know about you bit by bit, but within the context of you. Dialogue where they can relate. But if I were just to say to you, oh my gosh, Eleanor, guess what happened to me today? I was in the shower. Anyway, but definitely everybody, I'm going to do a PSA now, definitely get the course. What's it called now? I've forgotten.
Definitely compelling email copywriter.
There's in there about using your everyday stories that will help you write for your audience. So yeah.
Thank you. You self-promoted for me. Hooray! Everybody hire Tyra. If you're an introvert, you don't like promoting yourself, just hire Tyra.
Well, it's interesting to say that, because when I work with introverts, I do encourage them to do more self-promotion, because they tend to come to me and say, it's what I want to do, I just don't know how to. And I've noticed that they need a lot of templates and hand-holding, and then they fly. But what I was going to say was, I lost my train of thought now. It's going to come to me in a minute. Yes, I was going to say everything is within context, because it wasn't my intention to just talk about your course, but because we were talking about this subject, do you see what I mean? It's really, really good way of doing things. So when you are promoting other people, you are actually doing yourself a favor, because people are going to thank you for your recommendation, whether they take it up or not. But they're going to be grateful that you're not just talking about yourself and what you do. You're actually saying,
and it's the halo effect, isn't it? And likewise, I think it does show some humility. And also, if you're not getting anything for it in return, I'll pay you later. But so I think that's very true. That's very true. And goodwill, world runs on goodwill, really, doesn't it? And kind nature. So what should do? I really like that you flipped that there for extroverts as well, because it's something I hadn't ever thought of before.
Cool beans. So do we have anything else today?
No, not for me. I just want to say, for introverts, it will happen. If something doesn't feel right, clearly don't do it. But do try and push yourself out of your comfort zone, because you'll find that it is worth it in the end. And, take safety in numbers. If it's a problem, do a challenge, one of those online challenges. I think a good one is really worth it. So that's my takeaways.
And I would also like to point out as well to your lovely introverts that not all extroverts are arrogant, so you can also align yourself to an extrovert, and that might help you as well. So.
Great tip.
I'm to cry now, I don't know why.
So you ought to see your cat fly past on the sofa. That's giving us a message. Introvert, extrovert cat.
Just for everyone who only listens to us, we also record this. So it's actually, I'm now calling it a podcast. So this is why we're talking about our cats running. Well, my cat's running around. I was just imagining some people thinking, what are they talking about? Because they're only listening, they're not seeing it. Anyway, well, I think that's all from us today.
Yep, it's love, peace and great copy from me.
And ciao to everyone, introverts and extroverts alike. Bye.
Bye.